Nobody forged this sickle to cut grain. The symbol on the blade doesn't say the harvester chooses. It says the harvest chooses. And that one word has been ending lives since 1700. It has been waiting for 300 years. Farmers in the village of Karath used to tell their children to never walk through the eastern grain field after dark. Not because of wolves, not because of uneven ground, because of the sound. A low, rhythmic whisper, like something cutting through air that has no business being cut. The elders called it the sickle of shadows, and they were careful never to say that name too loudly. Here is what the oldest records claim about this object. The sickle was forged sometime in the early 1700s by a blacksmith whose name has been deliberately erased from every document that mentions him. Not crossed out, erased, as though someone went back through history and scraped his identity away with enormous intention. What remains is the description of the tool itself. A curved blade of blackened iron, the handle wrapped in material no one has successfully identified, and a single symbol carved near the base that translates loosely to something like the harvest chooses. Not the harvester, the harvest. That small grammatical detail is where things get deeply unsettling, because according to documented accounts spanning nearly 3 centuries, the sickle does not stay with whoever finds it. It moves. Witnesses across generations have reported discovering the sickle in their barn, their cellar, once reportedly inside a locked chest that had not been opened in 40 years. Each time, the person who finds it experiences the same sequence of events. First, unusually vivid dreams about open fields. Second, an overwhelming compulsion to hold the object. Third, within 72 hours, they attempt to use it. What happens during use is where accounts get inconsistent. Some survivors describe cutting ordinary grain that seemed to dissolve into nothing. Others described cutting things that were not physically there at all. One account from 1887 describes a woman who used it at midnight and reported harvesting what she called the shape of her own grief, leaving her emotionally hollowed out but physically unharmed. Every single person who used the sickle then lost it, woke up the next morning and it was simply gone, off to find its next candidate. Psychologists who have reviewed the documented cases suggest collective hysteria reinforced through generations of storytelling. That explanation sounds reasonable until you account for the cases where people with zero knowledge of the local legend experienced identical symptoms upon stumbling onto the object in completely different countries. The sickle has reportedly surfaced in rural France, a farmstead in Hungary, twice in separate regions of Japan, and once in a small town in rural Ohio in 1994. Nobody has ever held it twice. Nobody has ever destroyed it. Nobody has ever kept it. The working theory among those who study this seriously is that the sickle is not being wielded by anyone. The sickle is doing the choosing, and every person who thinks they picked it up is wrong. Something with an agenda older than your great-great-grandmother is out there right now, moving through darkness, looking for its next harvest. The question worth losing sleep over is simple. What exactly is it harvesting?